संजय जी, आपका वीडियो ऑन करेंगे प्लीज़। यशवंत जी, आपको भी विनती है।
Okay.
शुरू कर सकते हैं हम। यशवंत जी शुरू कर सकते हैं।
Okay. Good morning to all of you, and heartily welcome to our new seminar. Sahyak Krushi Adhikari, that is Assistant Agriculture Officer Facebook page, and Kisan, we jointly organizing this webinar. Today's our topic is methodology of estimation of costs and returns in crop production. For this topic, we have got speaker Dr. Sanjay Sapkalji from Mahatma Phule Krushi Vidyapith, that is MPKV Rahuri. I will introduce our speaker in briefly. Dr. Sanjayji Sapkar done his post-graduation from Agriculture Economics from MPKV Rahuri, PhD from IIRI New Delhi. He is expert in cost of production, minimum support price, and all of agriculture economic related activity. He has published 25 plus his research paper. He have written more than 200 popular article. He has done more than 10 video and all India radio talk shows, and he is very expert in agriculture economics. This expert lecturer we have got for this webinar. I heartily welcome Dr. Sanjayji Sapkar and all of
Thank
our
you.
viewer and
Thank
Honorable Sanjayji Sapkar. I request Sanjayji Sapkar sir to guide our all our farmer and viewer.
yes. Thank you. Thank you, Gavani sir.
Okay.
Very good morning to one and all. So today our topic is estimation of cost and returns in case of cost of production, and this topic is most important from the farmer's point of view, as still we did not know whether how much cost incurred for the production of a specific commodity or the crop. We will not reach to the conclusion whether that crop is economically feasible or not. So from that point of view, it is most important to know what is the methodology used for the estimation of cost of production. So just we discussed this cost of production has been calculated and how we reach to the conclusion whether that farming activity is economically feasible or not. So during this our presentation, we we start the presentation with the outline that just just wait. The outline of presentation will be like that. What is the cost and production concept? What are the various methods used for the valuation of the asset? As the valuation of an asset is the most important to calculate the depreciation and most of the thing. What are the how the depreciation will be calculated? What are the various methods used for the depreciation? What are the various costs like cost A1, cost A2, cost B1, B2, cost C1, C2, cost C3, and how the farm business analysis will be uh, estimated with the help of the cost of production concept, and through our theoretical knowledge we will just try to solve one practical example, so it will be clear to all of you to how to calculate the cost of production uh, for checking the economic feasibility of the specific crop. So just we start with the cost and the production concept. So what is the production function? First, we try to understand what is the production function. Production function is nothing but the functional relationship between the input and output. That is how the inputs has been used for the production of the some output, economical output activity. That is nothing but the production function. Marginal product is nothing but the in the total unit change in the input. That is
Sanjay ji, I think there is
or
some
underutilized.
issue at your end. There is some.
Hello, pardon.
Sanjay ji,
Hello.
I think there was some network issue, so we couldn't hear what you were saying. Can you please repeat this again? The last part?
Okay, no issue.
Yes, please. Thank you.
So today we are going to see what is the cost and the production concept. What are the various methods which are used for the valuation of the asset? Actually, valuations. It is most important to know how to evaluate the asset. Still, we will not reach to the precise conclusion of the cost of cultivation. And then, what are the various methods used for the calculation of the depreciation? And last one, the what are the various cost A1, A2, cost B1, B2, cost C1, C2, and cost C3, as well as the farm business analysis. We try to understand how they are calculated, and how they are helpful to understand whether that our production activity is economically feasible or not. And last one, we just from try to calculate one solve one practical example on the basis of whatever we learned from this lecture, so that we will reach to some conclusion whether that given example is economically feasible or not. So just we start our presentation with the first cost and the production concept. So first we try to understand what is the production function. Production function is nothing but the functional relationship between the input and the output. While the marginal product is the most important to understand whether the farmer because the main motto of the farmer is to get more income from the limited resources. So marginal product helps to understand how much input should be incorporated or used to get the maximum returns, so that we will get some least cost combination points, or it's in case of the production function we will reach to some equilibrium point. So margin product helps to know where is the equilibrium point of that production activity. So it helps to understand the relationship between the quantity a firm can produce and the cost determine pricing decisions. So there are various measures of the cost. Various cost are we are considering while calculating the cost of production, just like variable cost, fixed cost. Uh, what are these variable and fixed costs? We just try to understand what are these costs. The cost of production divided into fixed cost and variable cost. Fixed costs are those costs that do not vary with the quantity of the output produced. Means the fixed costs remain constant throughout the production process, while the variable costs are those costs do vary with the quantity of the
संजय सर,
output produced. हाँ हाँ
आपके पास जो पीडीएफ है ना वो श्रुति मैडम को मेल कर दीजिए। शेयरिंग में कुछ इशू आ रहा है।
ठीक 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 उनका मेल मुझे व्हाट्सएप करेंगे?
चैट बॉक्स में डाला है उन्होंने।
डाला है क्या? ठीक ठीक, अभी शेयर कर दूं क्या?
श्रुति मैडम,
हाँ जी।
सर का मेल आने के बाद आप स्क्रीन शेयर कर दीजिए।
Sure. संजय जी, जब तक मेरे पास आता है ईमेल आप कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं, मीनवाइल उसको मैं डाउनलोड करके रखती हूँ।
ठीक ठीक, मैंने अभी देख लीजिए आपको आया है नहीं आया।
ठीक है जी, श्योर, आप कंटिन्यू करिए तब तक।
ठीक ठीक, ओके। So there are various measures of the cost like variable cost, fixed cost. So fixed cost is nothing but the which do not vary with the quantity of the output produced, while the variable cost is the cost which vary with the quantity of the output produced. And the total cost is nothing but the combination of the total fixed cost and the total variable cost. A firm's cost of production includes all the cost of making its output of the goods and the services, while this cost is again divided into two parts, that is the explicit cost and the implicit cost. Explicit cost is nothing but the paid out cost. Whatever the farmer paid from his pocket is nothing but the explicit cost, while the implicit cost is nothing but the just like whatever he just give his labor, but he did not pay for that. That is nothing but the when he use some family member for the agriculture activities, he did not pay a single penny for that. That is nothing but the implicit cost, that is the inputted value of the family labor. That kind of the cost are included under the implicit cost. So first we try to understand what are the cost items which are necessary to understand during the estimation of the cost of the cultivation. First, the first part is nothing but the paid out cost. That is nothing but the cost which involve the outflow of the cash due to use of the factors of the production. That is nothing but the hired labor. That is the whatever the farmer paid for the hiring the labor for performing the agriculture activities. Then second one is the maintenance expenses on the own animal and machinery. Third one is the expenses on the materials, inputs such as seeds, fertilizers, matters, insecticide, pesticide, and irrigation. That is nothing but the farmer, whatever expend for the purchase of the inputs which are required for the production processes or the production activities, that are considered under the paid out cost, while depreciation on the implements and the farm buildings such as the cattle sheds, machine shed, like storage sheds, that kind of the depreciation incurred on the fixed assets are also considered under the paid out cost. Then land revenue cess and the taxes and the rent paid for the land, that all kind of expenses are incurred under the paid out cost. Next please. Next please. Okay, so from the total revenue, total cost and profit. Total revenue is nothing but the amount of firm receives for the sale of its output. Whatever he generated the income from his agriculture activities, that is nothing but the total revenue. And the total cost is how much he incurred for the that production activity is nothing but the total cost. And the profit is nothing but the difference between the total revenue and total cost is nothing but the profit of that specific production activity. So just that profit is divided into the two forms, is the accounting profit. So from the economics point of view, next please, previous one, just previous one. Okay, okay, thank you. Economic profit versus accounting profit. Economics measures a firm's economic profit as total revenue minus total cost, including both explicit as well as implicit cost. So economics measures accounting both explicit as well as implicit cost. Even though the farmer does not pay some penny from his pocket, that cost is also incurred in the economics in case of the accounting cost, while in case of when total revenue exceeds both explicit and implicit cost, the firm earns economic profit. Economic profit is smaller than the accounting profit. Okay, thank you. Next please. So we just try to understand what are the various costs we considered during the cost of the production. So first one is the cost A1. What is the cost A1? The cost A1 include all the costs that we have seen in the paid out cost column. That is the nothing but the uh, cost incurred for the production activities, and which vary with the level of the production. That is nothing but the cost incurred for the variable input use. That cost incurred under the cost A1, that is nothing but the value of hired human labor, value of hired bullock labor, value of own bullock labor, value of own machinery labor, hired machinery charges, value of seed, value of insecticide, fertilizers, value of manures, value of fertilizers, irrigation charges, land revenue, cess and other taxes, other expenses, depreciation on the implements and the farm buildings, interest on the working capital. The how What are the methods used to calculate that depreciation, interest on working capital? That kind of information we will see in further slides. Okay, next please. Then in case of the cost A2, cost A2 is nothing but the cost A1 plus rent paid for the leased in land. That is nothing but the whatever rent the farmer paid for the leased in land is considered in case of the calculating the cost A2. While in case of the cost B1, we are considering the cost A1 plus interest on the value of own fixed capital asset, excluding the land. That is the most important. Here we exclude the land, while in case of the cost B2, we are considering that exclude land. Or cost B1 plus rental value of the own land, net of the land revenue and rent paid for the leased in land. That is nothing but the cost B2. And how that cost will be calculated, we will see in the further slides, next slides. Cost C1 is previous one, please. Cost C1 is nothing but the cost B1 plus imputed value of the family labor. Cost C2 is nothing but the cost B1 plus imputed value of the family labor. Cost C3, how cost C3 is calculated? Actually, cost C3 is calculated by adding the 10% of the cost C2 to account for the managerial input of the farmers. As a farmer is working as a manager of this whole farm, he has to pay some reward for his activity. That's why 10% of the cost C2 is considered as managerial charges, and that are considered for calculating the cost cost C3. And this methodology is taken from the central cost of cultivation, that is Director of Economics and Statistics, Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, New Delhi. The methodology used by the DS New Delhi. From that point of view, these costs are considered. Next, please. So on the basis of whatever we calculated in the cost A1, cost A2, cost B, cost C, we will further proceed for the cost farm business analysis. From that, we will try to understand whether that economic activity is economically feasible or not, whether that farm is economically feasible or not, whether there is need to review our the whole farm activity in order to get maximum return from the limited resources. So that farm business analysis we will be calculated with on the basis of the whatever we calculated in cost A1, cost A, B, C. So the gross income is nothing but the value of the main product plus value of the byproduct. Net income is nothing but the gross income minus cost C2. Farm business income is nothing but the gross income minus cost A2. Family labor income is nothing but the gross income minus cost B2. And last one is the farm investment income is nothing but the gross income minus cost A2 plus imputed value of the family labor. Next, please. So what are the prerequisite for the cost calculation? We just see the theoretical part of the methodology of the cost of production. Now we just try to understand with the help of some example and how these costs are calculated, how the value of the assets has been fixed, or how the depreciation has been calculated. So it will be easy to calculate the cost incurred and as well as the return generated from the farm activities. So what are the prerequisites for the cost calculation? That is nothing but the need for the valuation of assets, to outline the different methods that can be used to value farm assets, to define the depreciation and related terms. Next one is to illustrate the different methods of computing depreciation. So it will be helped to get what are the present book value of the assets, what are the maintained by the farmers on his farm. So it will be better to understand how much cost he incurred for each crop and how much he generated through that production activities, to know the economic feasibility of this crop. Next, please. So, what is the need of the valuation of assets? Actually, need of the valuation of asset is to confirm all the assets shown in the balance sheet are with their book value. Then, inappropriate valuation can lead to the unsound business decision. Then, to check the net worth of the business and to check current liquidity status of the farm. So, from that point of view, the valuation of asset is most important. Next, please. So, what are the points to be considered before the valuation of assets? Valuation of assets, before going for the valuation of assets, some points are most important to understand. That is like the original cost of the assets, estimated useful life of the assets, wear and tear of the asset, breakup value of the asset, chances of the asset becoming obsolete. That points are most important to know before we are going for the calculation of the cost and the valuation of the assets. Next, please. So these are the various methods of the valuation of the assets. So these are the methods in which first one is the cost minus depreciation. Second one is the cost or the market price, whichever is lower. Third one is the net selling price. Then replacement cost minus depreciation. Then income capitalization. And the valuation of the assets depends on the purpose of the valuation and the nature of the assets being valuated. How these methods are used, we will just try to understand with the practical example in next slide. So first one is the valuation at cost minus depreciation, in which the valuation of the assets is valued at the beginning. How it is valued? It is valued just like that, the value at the beginning of the year minus depreciation. For first year, the purchase price is equal to approximate of the value of the asset. And this methods is used for the valuation of the working assets, for example, machinery and the breeding livestock. So this one is the first method for the valuation of the assets. That is nothing but the value at the beginning of the year, whatever the value we found in the book value of that specific assets minus the depreciation. And that depreciation, how to calculate, we will just see in the some next slides. Okay. So second method is the valuation at the cost or the market price, whichever is the lower. And this method is used for the valuation of the purchased farm supply. In this case, the asset is valued at the cost or the market price, whichever is the lower. Next, please. The third one is the valuation at net selling price, and this method is used for the valuation of the crops or the livestock produce. Actually, value at the net selling price, that is at the market price. The reasonably accurate measures of the current value of the assets. As we see in case of the livestock, in case of the previous slide, we observed that there is a appreciation instead of the depreciation in case of the assets. So this valuation at net selling price method is used for the valuation of the crops as well as the livestock produce. Next, please. Next, please. Oh, okay. Valuation by the replacement cost minus depreciation. Then in this case, this method is used for the valuation of the long-lived assets like the buildings, machinery, equipment. In this case, the assets valued at what it would cost at present prices and under present method of the production minus depreciation. Actually, what happened in case of the buildings, we are using various we are recurring or the we are making some improvement in the buildings, that That's why these methods, valuation by the replacement cost minus depreciation methods, is used for the valuation of the building machinery and the equipment. Next, please. Then the valuation by the income capitalization methods. This method is used for the valuation of the land, and this method is used for the long-lived farm assets contributed in the farm business income. In this method, the asset is valued on the basis of the formula, that is the nothing but the constant income over the infinite number of years in future divided by the rate of the interest. But there is some limitation of this method, just like that neither annual income nor the interest rate in the future is known with accuracy, and the methods generally used in the combination with other methods like the market price method. So this method is mostly used for the valuation of the land. So now we just try to understand how to calculate the depreciation. So what is the depreciation? Depreciation is nothing but the annual loss in the value of the durable assets due to the use, wear, tear, age, and the obsolescence. A business expense that reduces the annual profit. A reduction in the value of asset is nothing but the depreciation, and it is most important to calculate the cost A from the cost of cultivation methodology point of view. Next, please. Assets that may be depreciated. What kind of the assets that can be depreciation? For that, there are some assumptions, just like the useful life of the more than 1 year. The assets life should be more than 1 year. Only that assets can be depreciated. Then a determinable useful life, but not an unlimited useful life. That is nothing but the life of the asset should be limited. It should not be infinite or the unlimited. A use in the business. Examples: vehicles, machinery, equipment. Such kind of the assets can be depreciation. Land is not depreciable, but some improvements to the land, that is, for example, drains, are depreciable. Okay. Next, please. So we just try to understand some depreciation terms, like the cost. Cost is nothing but the price paid for the asset. Useful life. Useful life. What is useful life? Useful life is the number of years the assets is expected to be used in the business. Then salvage value. Salvage value is nothing but the junk value, or the expected market value of the asset at the end of its useful life. When that assets completely become obsolete, that is at that point, whatever the value of that asset is nothing but the salvage value, and it is also known as the junk value. Then the book value. Book value is nothing but the uh, previous one. Book value is nothing but the assets value, whatever we are maintaining on our records by minimizing or by reducing the depreciation from that asset value. Next, please. Then the depreciation methods. What are the various depreciation methods? The various depreciation methods are like that. First one is the annual revaluation. Second one is straight line method. Third one is declining balance. Then sum of the year digits, and then compound interest method. On the basis of assumption, what are the assumptions required for using these depreciation methods? Just like that, the assets are used on the constant rate year after year, or the assets are used at varying rates year after year. On that assumption, we are using the various methods for the calculation of the depreciation. So first we try to understand how to uh, how to get the depreciation value with the annual revaluation. Annual depreciation is equal to the market value of the assets in the beginning minus market value of the asset at the end of the inventory year. Limitation in use. Estimation of the annual value is not possible. Mere changes in the prices useful in the livestock in the early years of the life, that is appreciation phase. Actually, annual revaluation is nothing but the, in case of the just like the at the beginning of the agriculture year, we are just considering the whatever the market value of that assets, and at the end of the agriculture year, we just try to understand what is the market value of that assets, on that difference between the uh, beginning and the end value, that is nothing but the depreciation for that specific asset. Next one is the straight line method, and this straight line method is most commonly used for the calculation of the depreciation. So how the depreciation is calculated in this method? In case of the straight line method, annual depreciation is equal to the purchase price of the assets. Whatever the price we paid for the purchase of that commodity, we are considering for calculation of depreciation in straight line method, minus the salvage value. Salvage value is nothing but the junk value of that product. That is nothing but the value of that product after its expiry, or the after when that assets become obsolete, divided by number of years of useful life of the assets. So by these methods we are calculating the depreciation, but one assumption in this case is that the resources annual depreciation will be the same for the year under year after every year under this method. But one assumption is considered in this method, just like that the assets is used at the constant rate throughout the year. Next please. Just we try to understand with example how depreciation calculated by straight line method. Here we try to take one example. Suppose a tractor costs rupees 24,000 when new and expected to last 10 years. That is nothing but the 10 year is his useful life. The junk value of the tractor after the 10 years would be 4,000. So on the basis of this, we try to calculate the depreciation. The depreciation is equal to the purchase price minus junk value divided by value is 4,000 divided by useful life is 10. Varying assets. As we previously seen that this method is useful for the assets which are used at constant rate throughout the year. Next please. So third one is the diminishing balance method. In case of the diminishing balance method, the depreciation is calculated at fixed rate of the depreciation for every year applied to the value of the asset at the beginning of the year. Fixed rate applied until reach to the salvage value, and higher depreciation charges earlier than the latter year. In this case, the depreciation charges were observed to be higher in the earlier phase of that asset, and it goes to decreasing over the period. How this methods is used, we just try to understand with example in next slide. Just see example. Suppose annual depreciation is calculated by this method at the rate of 20% for a tractor costing rupees 24,000. Then on the basis of this, we just try to calculate the depreciation for that specific asset. Then the purchase value is 24,000. Then the depreciation rate is 10%, and the annual depreciation by diminishing balance method. We are just considering here the 10% is the constant rate of the depreciation. So in case of the first year, we just see in example we take 20%. So just consider the 20% depreciation rate. On the basis of this, just see the first year the value of the asset is 24,000 and the depreciation is about 20%. So 20% of the 24,000 is nothing but the 4,800, and so the remaining balance, that is the closing balance of that asset, is nothing but the 24,000 minus 4,800 is nothing but the 1,900. 200 is nothing but the remaining balance. Remaining balance or nothing but the value of that assets at the closing of that specific year. That closing is nothing but the price of the beginning year of the next year. That is nothing but 19,200 is the value of the assets at the beginning of the next year. Then again we are taking the 20% as a depreciation on that value, and that comes to the 3,840, which is found to be less as compared to the previous one. That's why we are saying that in this method, at the initial stage, the value of the depreciation is more uh, as compared to the latter period. So that 20% we are just deduct from the book value till we are not reached to the salvage value of that product. So this methods is used for the depreciation of the asset. Next is, then some of the air disease methods, that is nothing but the reducing fraction method. In this case, the depreciation is calculated by using the formula purchase cost minus salvage value into remaining useful life years at the beginning of the accounting period divided by sum of the years of the life of the asset. And how this method is used, we just try to understand with the example in next slide. So just we see one example where we try to understand how the depreciation is calculated. So 24,000 is the purchase value of that asset minus 4,000 is the salvage value into 10 is the useful life, remaining useful life of that assets, and divided by sum of the year digits of that specific assets. In these methods, we are just changing that the remaining useful life. Instead of 10, next year we are using 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's like we are calculating the depreciation in each year. Just change the remaining life of asset and calculate the depreciation over the period of the useful life of the assets. Then in case of the next methods, we just try to see. Next please. So just see the impact of the depreciation methods on the annual depreciation expenses. In case of the straight line methods, we observe that the depreciation value is constant over the period of time. As we observe that in case of the straight line methods, we are just calculating the depreciation by considering the purchase value minus salvage value by divided by useful life of the assets, and that formula remain constant uh, throughout the life of that assets for calculation of the depreciation. That's why in case of the straight line methods, the annual depreciation expenses over the time has been seen to be the constant throughout the period. While in case of the diminishing balance method, we've seen that we are considering some specific rate for the calculating the depreciation, where we observed that during the initial stage, the value of the depreciation is more as compared to the latter period. So that's we just try to understand with the graphical presentation. Then impact of the depreciation methods on the book value of the assets. What is the impact of the that methods on the book value? That is nothing but in case of the straight line methods, the book value of the assets is reducing at the constant rate, while in case of the diminishing balance methods, initial stage, the book value is reduced at faster rate as compared to the next period, and at the end that both the values reach to the salvage or the junk value. Next please. Then what are the problems we have faced in the computation of the depreciation? First one is nothing but the life of the machines often longer than the normal expectation. Sometimes we consider that some machinery will be useful for the 10 years, but that machinery will remain for the longer periods. That's why in such cases it is difficult to calculate the depreciation for that specific assets. So it creates the ambiguity for the calculation of the assets value. Then minor repair, use of oil and lubricants, etc. Normally no extra depreciation charges. Then small tools of the 1 year useful life. That is, we seen that for calculation of depreciation, there is need to have useful life of the asset should be more than 1 year. Then second hand machine. In case of second hand machine, we are not getting clear idea of how much at what exact rate he purchased the assets, or the what are the useful life remain for that asset. So such kind of the problems arise during the computation of the depreciation. Then livestock assets depreciation. Next, please. So on the basis of the whatever the knowledge we get from this, we just try to understand. We just try to we just try to get information, or the just try to solve one practical example on the basis of whatever we seen in the previous slide. So just here we are getting one example that is nothing but a farmer is having a 4 hectares of the land and leasing in 1.5 hectare of the land. The value of the owned land is rupees 3 lakh and the rental value of the land is rupees 15,000 per hectare. He is having a cattle shed and 2 stores of the value of rupees 25 and 55,000 respectively. Expected life of this building is 50 years. Then a tube well is also in working condition at the farm, and expected life of the tube well is 20 years, and the installment cost is rupees 50,000. The farmer has purchased a tractor of the value rupees 2.50 lakhs and tractor machinery of rupees 2 lakhs. The life of this is 20 years and 5 years. And then small equipments of rupees 2,000 has a given life of 2 years. He maintains 2 bullocks, 2 cows, 3 buffaloes, and 5 young stock of rupees 25,000, 20,000, 45,000, and 3,000 respectively. There is an appreciation of rupees 5,000 in the value of the young stock. He is realizing a gross income of rupees 5 lakh. There is no liability on the farmer in the current year. In view, measures the cost, income, and the BC ratio in relation to the different costs using the given information, and also explain it with the precise interpretation. So here on the basis of the given information, we just try to calculate the cost A1, cost A2, cost B1, cost B2, cost C1, cost C2, cost C3, and also we try to get some information or about the farm business analysis. So we will reach to the decision just like that, whether that farm is economical feasible or not. So from that point of view, we are just taking this example to so that it will be easy to calculate the cost of production. So these are the given points. Next, please. So how to estimate? First, we try to find out the working capital. What are the working capitals used in production process? Working capital, nothing but the capitals which are changes with the change in the level of the output. That is the first one is the hired human labor wages. Then value of fertilizer, value of manures, value of seed, value of insecticide and pesticide, electricity charges, canal charges, land revenue, miscellaneous charges. That is nothing but the from that example we are getting the total working capital is about 1,09,000, and on the basis of this find out the interest on the working capital. Normally we are considering the working capital interest on working capital is 6%, as the agriculture loan is provided by the government at about 7%. We just try to calculate here at the rate of the 6%. So the interest on the working capital is equal to the just like that, that is the total working capital into the interest on the working capital. So on the basis of this we are calculating the interest on the working capital. Then we just try to find out the depreciation on the different equipments. What are these equipments? Cattle shed, tractor machinery, tube well, small equipment. That is the fixed assets. What are the fixed assets used for the production activities? So we are here calculating the depreciation on the different equipments. So for this depreciation, here I am simply using the straight line method for the calculation of the depreciation, where just see I use the purchase price minus junk value divided by useful life of that assets. then that will automatically give the depreciation value of that specific assets. On the basis of this, the depreciation is calculated, and from that we observe that the total depreciation is about 51,840. Next, please. So on the basis of the information or the calculation, previous calculation, that is the how much working capital, what are the interest on the working capital, how much the depreciations we are, how much depreciation we have calculated from the available data. We just try to calculate cost A1, cost A2, cost B, C, and then we will go for the farm business analysis. So cost A1 is equal to the working capital, is equal to working capital that we found in the first previous slide, that is about 1,09,000. Then the bullock labor own, then the value of the own tractor services, value of the other machinery services, the interest on the working capital, and depreciation. All these points has been considered for calculation of the cost A1. Then it indicates that the for this specific given farm, the total cost A1 is equal to 2,30,380. Then we are just going for the cost A2. In case of the cost A2 is nothing but the cost A1 plus rent paid for the leased in land. As we see in the example, the farmer has leased in land is about 1.5 hectare, and the rent for the 1 hectare is about 15,000. That's why we are taking here 1.5 into 15,000. That is nothing but the the 22,500. So on the basis of this, cost A2 is equal to 2,30,380 plus 22,500. So the total cost A2 is nothing but the 2,52,880. Just here, just try to understand here, we are considering the rent paid for the leased in land. Then cost B1 is nothing but the cost A1 plus interest on the value of own fixed capital assets. So interest on value of fixed capital assets is equal to the total value of the fixed capital into 10%. Total value of the fixed capital, as we calculated in the previous slide, that is nothing but the 5,82,000 into 10%. Here we are just taking the interest on the value of own fixed capital at the rate of 10%. So cost B1 is equal to cost A1 plus interest on the value of own fixed capital assets, and that is nothing but the 2,88,580 is calculated on the basis of the given example. Next, please. Then cost B2. Cost B2, how we are calculating cost B2? Cost B2 is equal to cost B1 plus rental value of the own land and rent paid for the leased in land. As we observed that the rent paid for the land is about 15,000, and the farmer has the 4 hectare of the land. That's why we are taking here 4 into 15,000 is nothing but the 60,000, and 1.5 into 15,000 is nothing but the 22,500. So here cost B2 is equal to cost B1 plus rental value of the own land as well as the rent paid for the leased in land. Then cost C1. In case of the cost C1, cost B1 plus imputed value of the family labor, that is equal to nothing but the whatever we are calculated in case of the cost B1 plus whatever the imputed value of the family labor, that is nothing but the charges that we are still not paid, but that are considered in case of the cost C1. That's why here imputed value of the family labor, that is nothing but the implicit value for the use of the family labor in the production activities we are considering here for calculating the cost C1. Then cost C2. Cost C2 is nothing but the cost B2 plus imputed value of the family labor. And in case of the cost C3, as we seen in the previous slide, that the cost C2 plus 10% of the cost C2 to account for the managerial input of the farmers. Here we are considering the 10% of the cost C2 as the managerial charges for the farmer for the calculation of the cost C3. And on the basis of this, we have calculated about how much cost incurred for the production of that specific activities performed on the farm. So from the given information, we observed that about 4,53,288 rupees farmers has incurred for the production of that specific activity. On the basis of this, we just try to calculate it how the farmer business analysis shows the picture whether it is a good or economically feasible for the farmer or not. Next, please. So on the basis of the whatever the cost we get from the example, we just try to analyze the farm business, where we first calculated the farm business income. In this, the gross income minus cost A1 is equal to where in case of the given example, the gross income is about 5 lakh and the cost A1 we calculated as the 2,30,380. From that, we observed that about the farm business income, the farmer has generated about 2,69,620 rupees over the variable cost. That is nothing but the income generated over the variable cost, that or the paid out cost is nothing but the farm business income. Then family labor income. Family labor income is nothing but the gross income minus cost B2 is equal to 5 lakh minus 3,71,080. So family labor income is about 1,28,920. That is nothing but the income generated over the cost B2. Then net income. Net income is nothing but the gross income minus cost C3. Whatever the net profit farmer has generated through his production activity is nothing but the net income. And from this analysis, we observed that the still farmer is in a surplus in his production activities. So farmer is found to be economically feasible in this case. And then the farm investment income. In case of the farm business income, farm investment income is equal to the farm business income minus value of the family labor, where we observe that the farm investment income is about 2,28,620. Then on the basis of the whatever the cost and the returns we have calculated from the given example, we just try to understand what will be the BC ratio for that specific farm activity. That is nothing but the, if we spend 1 rupees, how much income we can generate from that 1 rupees. And here we observe that if we spend 1 rupees, we will generate about 1.1 rupees. That is 0.10 rupees more as compared to the our expenditure. So as the BC ratio is more than what, it indicates that the farm is economically feasible. So this production activity is found to the economically profitable from the farmer's point of view. So this methodology is most important for the from the farmer's point of view to understand whether our farming activity is going in a economically feasible or in a profitable way or not, or whether there is a need to review our the production activities plan for the further improvement in the production activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay sir. Very
Thank you.
nicely explained all concept regarding production cost of production, variable cost, cost A, cost B, cost C, valuation of asset, depreciation, how it is calculated, actual cost of production with example. Once again, thanks. Very few farmers in our India, they are maintaining economics of our farm. Even though
Yes,
some
yes.
farmers are maintaining record economics of the farm, they are never calculating for own farmer and his family labor engaged 24/7 in his farmers.
Yes,
Unless and until farmers are not considering farming as a business, we are unable to consider we are in profit or loss. Nowadays, we should take farming as a commercial entrepreneurs. So thanks, Sanjay Sakpa sir. I also special thanks to
So much,
Shruti
sir.
madam, Jamdar sir, Bhor sir, Deepak sir, and our all viewers. Shruti madam, anything else?
No, sir, thank you so much for the lovely presentation. It was very informative for the farmers. So, thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you, madam. Thank you.
Okay, once again, thanks to all viewers also.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So we have details of Dr. Sanjay here. So anybody wants to get in touch with him for any updates, you can do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.